Today we're going to talk about how to stay safe on the ice. 3 easy steps to make sure that ice is safe. I'm also going to show you 5 essential items that's good to bring when you're going out on the ice like this. My name is Matti. I'm working as a dog musher and nature guide up in northern Sweden. Together with my partner Stina, we run a small guide company and we're living in Jokkmokk just above the Arctic Circle. And as you see, now we have the ice here. It's frozen and it looks solid all over. And last night we also got the snow. Now I'm going to show you the safety items that I use when I travel on frozen water. One of the first things I want to show you is a vest that actually helps you floating if you're falling into the water. This is from an almost local company. It's from the coast, PTO, and they make this floating gear, floating clothes. The good thing with this vest is if you're falling into the water, this one will buy you some extra time. You should wear it under your jacket. I have the vest, but it also comes as a jacket. It comes like long pants and so on. But I just have the vest. Stina also have it. And we use it a lot during the winter when we're driving snowmobile or dog sledding and yeah, so on. Very good one. It also keeps you a little bit warm. The second thing I use is kind of spikes. They should hang around the neck. And this is maybe the most important part. They are here. If you're falling into the ice is slippery. So when you want to go back up on the ice, you can grab them and you look, you have one of these spikes. And then you can hit it into the ice and pull yourself up on the ice. I don't want to show you that right now because I want to stay dry. If you want Stina to show how this works in reality in water, tell me, put a comment down below and maybe we can kind of arrange a bath with Stina. Another thing that's super important to bring is a bag with some extra clothes. This bag should be waterproof, and when you have it in your backpack, it also will give you some extra lifting, floating thing if you're falling into the water. But the whole idea is to not fall into the water. But if you're there in the water, you need this dry clothes when you're coming up. Super important. A lot of people also bring a towel. That could be an idea. And they bring plastic bags so you can put over your dry new socks when you had to use your wet shoes again. And then you need an ice pick like this. You see, this comes in many different models, and this one is a set of 2, so I can use them when I'm ice skating. The weight of this is not super heavy, but it's heavy enough so I know when I hit one time very hard, I hit through 3 centimeter ice. So with this one I know how hard I hit and how thick the ice is if it goes through. But we'll come to the measurement later on. The second of this one is very lightweight. I can hit and hit and hit. This is more like a ski pole. So this is useless as a ice pick. This one is the one I need to use. Then it comes more heavy ones that you can use if you're walking in front of a car or in front of a horse or I don't know what. So you had to know your ice pick. You can also use an axe if you want, just a regular axe. And this is something I always bring with me on the snowmobile or in the dog sled. So this is a very common tool for me for checking the ice. And then another thing that's super important to bring is a throwing line. This one is a line in a bag and you can throw it out. So if someone ends up in the water and you want to help that person, then you hold the rope, pull out a little bit and throw it to that person. You can also use it as I use it now. I have it on my backpack and this one is attached to me. So if I fall into the water and someone could help me, I could throw the bag to them. And this one, I bought it from a company in Sweden called Packraft Sweden something. And it's lightweight, so it is for people who make pack rafting. And I use it for canoe tours, for packraft tours. I use it sometimes when I go to the mountain and crossing rivers, then I can bring it. And I also use it in wintertime on my dog sled, or I use it in my snowmobile. It's always good to bring it. If you, in summertime, if you don't use it for pulling up someone or doing something, you can use it and put it between trees for drying things. So it's a very useful piece of gear. And another thing that's super important to bring is a friend. If you're falling into the water and you're alone, there is much higher risk than that something goes wrong. And now maybe you say, but why do you go alone? I was on these lakes for a couple of days together with friends, and we have checked it. We have ice skating all around the lake, and I only go on the place that I already checked. And then another important thing, it have been cold since I was here checking. If it had been a warm period between I checked the ice and now, I couldn't guarantee that the ice is better. Last time I was here with ice skates, and now I also have skis. And skis carry the weight on the ice much better than ice skates. So it's double, triple safe for me now to be here.
And now I'm going to show you how to check the ice.
And it's also super important to stop for a coffee. Maybe coffee is one of the most important part of ice safety. I almost think so. It must be coffee. So then we check the ice in 3 steps. Look, probe, decide. And I want to start with one thing. I'm just an amateur when we're talking about ice. There is people who really know this very well. But I'm living close to a lake, and it's a part of my life also. But some people are really good with this. They go and listen on the ice, and they hear if it's good or not. That's not the level I'm doing, and that's not the level I'm going to learn you. We are on the basic level. When we talk about the glare ice with no snow, then you can actually see the ice. You can see the cracks, how thick is the cracks. And then you can also visually see here is a line. The ice on the other side is older or newer. Then you have to check that ice also and don't think that it's the same strange on both sides. When you have the snow like this, it's a little bit more difficult, but maybe you can see some holes, maybe you can see some dark, wet areas, and that's not the same thing as it is weak ice. If you are on the river after a snowstorm, it can be a hole in the river and it's just covered with snow. So you must look very careful and don't take anything for granted. And now we're going to probe the ice, and there is different recommendation how thick the ice should be before you enter it. And I think 3 centimeter, you can walk on 3 centimeter if it's the pure autumn ice. It's totally different in end of the winter. So this time of the year, when the ice is very, very solid and the pure autumn ice, 3 centimeters, you can walk. I prefer to not do that. I prefer to have it like 5 centimeters or up to 10 centimeters. And the recommendation from most of the organizations and so, they recommend 10 centimeters, 6 to 10 centimeters for one person. So you should not start with 3 centimeters. You should start with thicker ice and then learn. A lot of really good ice skaters I know, they can go on really thin ice. But I don't compare myself with them because they know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. Now I'm going to show you how I try the ice. This is the heavy ice peak, and with this one I can hit through 3 centimeters. And that means when I hit through the ice is not good enough anymore. You get it? And what I do is actually I walk and hit in front of me all the time. And now we're going to measure the ice. So then I want to take away the snow like this. See? And we're going to hit through and see how thick it is. Now when I have the hole, I can put my finger down and measure the ice. And this ice is something like 15 centimeters, so this is really thick. And it's really solid. You can also see, I can see straight through it. It's clear, black. It's no slash things in it. So this is 15 centimeter super solid good ice. You can also see air bubbles in the ice, and now when I hit through, it came also air bubble under the ice. And then you can kind of see how thick the ice is. And now when you know how thick the ice is, it's the third thing, decision. And here, I know it's 15 centimeters here, and I've been around the lake and checked it on several places, and I know places where it's thin. If I come to where a creek coming out, if I come to a narrow place on the lake, places that I think that this can be bad ice again, I check. And if I go ice skating, I all the time looking, how does it look? I checking, probing it with a stick, and I make a decision, can I go, can I not go? And then it continue like that. Looking, checking, decision. Looking, checking, decision. All the time. That's how I do it. And it is important to remember that the quality of the ice changes during the winter. Now, when you have the snow, it makes a kind of isolation to the ice. And then you have the warm water on the underside of the ice. And if it's cold, the ice continue growing. Then you have a warm period, or maybe you have a river with a current under the water, or where the water moves somehow under the ice. And then it's eating up the ice from the underside. And even if it looks okay with the snow, it's not okay. So you must be careful. The ice changes during the winter. And what I talk about with centimeters now on the ice, it's now. It's in the autumn. Later in the winter, when things have happened with the ice, when the sun have shining, when it have been through several different kind of weather things during the whole winter, it's a total different story. Usually the ice is thicker, but in springtime, 20 centimeter ice is maybe not enough. Now we're talking in late springtime. It could also be that you're crossing a river and it's never good ice there. So don't trust the ice. The life is too short to make a mistake with the ice. And then I had to mention what happened if you're falling into the ice. And one ground rule is you have 1 minute for controlling your breathing rhythm. And then the second minute you use for making orientation. which direction are you going back in? Because you're always swimming and going back to where you come from, where you know the ice was good. And then you have a third minute to actually come up or out of the hole again. 3 minutes is a long time, really long time, but the water is cold also. But this is not a video about falling into the water. This is a video about avoiding falling into the water. I hope this video was kind of helpful for you. I don't want to read in the news that several people have been drowned, falling through the ice this winter. If you have friends who are out on the ice a lot or are planning to going on the ice, feel free to share this video. I'm just happy if more people can see it. And so if you have any ideas about ice safety, I'll love you to leave comments, because share your knowledge also, because I don't know everything. And I will try to find links to the gear I use, and then the links are down in the description also. And thanks for watching. Now I'm going to ski back home. See you in next video. Ciao!